the dog here, too.
Okay, Florida State visits Miami. Florida State, a 20-point favorite. This game used to have a lot of national championship implications. Now it still does, but maybe just for one side. Chuck Edel, you like the Florida State Seminoles in this game.
This is don't like to lay the wood too often, but this is a situation. If I'm going to lay points, I want a reason why the team is going to keep the foot on the gas pedal. There's no question in my mind. Florida State, always recruiting the same guys. They have.
Definitely.
They want to embarrass this Miami, Florida team, who's really defensively has not been able to stop anybody. One of the worst defenses in the ACC. There, Florida State. This is the worst defense that Florida State's going to play all season long so far here. Also, the quarterback, Morris, got hurt last week, Miami, Florida quarterback. They're bringing in a new kid. His first game, Ryan Williams, last week. Now, that game last week, looks like a close game, North Carolina, Miami, Florida. There was very heavy winds in the game. The weather is not good to throw the ball. A little deceiving. North Carolina really outplayed them, but not on the scoreboard here. But I like Florida State. I think this is a game where I really feel like they're going to keep that foot on the gas pedal and run it up on a bad Miami of Florida team. How about this, Chris? Miami of Florida against Kansas State and Notre Dame, two elite teams like Florida State.
Very good,
outscored 93-16 in those two games.
Wow. I keep my own set of stats like all of us do. Florida State has some of the best numbers of anybody. Now, they did have the one clinker game. I understand that. But they're still not quite out of the national championship race, I think. So I think they could be looking at some style points here.
I was just going to say another thing. They're pissed because they're eighth in the BCS and in the BCS bowl standings. They're not happy. They feel like they should be a little.
And that's another.
Your thoughts on this one?
Besides the recruiting, right now teams are jockeying for position.
Absolutely.
Style points are really important right now, and I think Florida State has the personnel to light up a scoreboard right now. I mean, when you look before the season started, this line was 10. It was one of the game of the years. And we knew coming in Florida State was a top 5 school.
Yes, very much.
And this line was 10. So it's telling you something. It's all the way up to 20. We know about the injured quarterback. I think the sports books are going to need your side. I think the bettors are going to line up and see Miami as a home dog of near 3 touchdowns.
Sure.
We know the wise guys got down right away at -17, jumping over each other to get to that number. Now we're looking at 20. Not an easy number to lay, but it's the only way I could look in this game.
Chuck Edel, one other thing that came up this week, the athletic director from Miami has gone now to Nebraska. There's rumors, how true, of course, we don't know, that Pelini's in trouble at Nebraska. If the athletic director gets to name his own coach, he may be bringing Al Golden with him from Miami. Do you think that enters into this at all, that maybe his focus is elsewhere?
I really believe that he's probably focused on the game, but he just doesn't have the talent there. But I could see Pelini's in hot water over there in Nebraska. They're not happy with him. I could see, and if he might not be, he's still focused. But however, if the players are catching wind of that, that's a distraction. Maybe they don't give the effort that thinking he's out. They might not. They get down by a couple touchdowns. Maybe a little bit of a lack of effort could come to play.
You talked about them getting blown out by some of those very, very good teams. Strictly a lack of talent, the lack of motivation, lack of coaching. How do you see that?
It's the lack of defense. I mean, the defense is brutal. They can't stop anybody. No. Yeah, it's been apparent. I mean, look what Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame's offense, their defense is outstanding, but offensively, they're an average offense right now.
At best.
At best, yeah. And they just went up and down the field on that team. And Kansas State, not a super potent offense. They like to run the ball, but they went up and down the field on them as well.
Yeah, blew them out, really. Okay, we've talked about it. We ready to make it official?
Let's do it. I like Florida State going to lay the points. I've been fading Miami of Florida all season. I think good value here. They're still living on their name. Miami of Florida, one of the worst defenses around right now. Florida State comes into this game 13th best offense, 3rd defensively in the country here. I like Florida State.
You know what supports his side? If you look at the total, when was the last time you saw Florida State play Miami? The total opened 66, and is up to 68. I remember these totals being in the 30s.
I remember some in the 30s.
That's what I'm saying. These two teams in the 30s. So a lot has changed.
I'm a little older than you guys.
A lot has changed. Not by much, but a lot has definitely changed.
Well, I'll tell you, when Chuck Edel, one of the best handicappers I know, lays 20 points on the road in a conference game, it is time to pay attention. I got to tell you that. So, Chuck,
take my temperature. One of the.
Well, no, I'm not going to take your temperature. I think you have a lot of good things going in that one. Okay, coming up next, we're going to hear from VR. He's going to tell us about South Carolina at Florida. Very good matchup in the SEC. And just a reminder, you can see all our videos at pregame.tv, and hopefully we'll give you a few winners along with some entertainment.